His blood was everywhere. The billionaire CEO, Neil Raymond, the man everyone thought was unshakable, lay on the cold pavement, chest barely rising. People screamed, doctors rushed, sirens wailed, yet nothing worked. His pulse kept dropping, slower until the heart monitor gave that terrifying flat tone. And right there in the chaos stood Alina, the chubby girl everyone ignored. She was trembling, hugging her grocery bag to her chest, tears blurring her vision. She didn't know him. He didn't know her. But something pulled her toward him, something deep, something impossible to explain. "Miss, step back," a paramedic shouted. But she couldn't. Her legs moved on their own. She knelt beside his lifeless body, hands shaking as she touched his cold cheek. Everyone froze. Even the paramedics paused long enough to stare. Then Alina did the craziest thing she'd ever done. She leaned in and kissed him. A soft, desperate kiss. A kiss that wasn't meant to save him, only to say goodbye to the stranger who shouldn't have died like this. But then, the heart monitor beeped. Once. Twice. Then violently spiked back to life. Gasps exploded around her. Neil's eyes snapped open, confused, breathless, and staring directly at the girl who just kissed him back to the living. Everyone froze. But Neil's first word was her name. Alina. Even though he had never met her before. The moment Neil whispered her name, Alina stumbled back as if burned. How could he know her? How could a man who had been clinically dead seconds ago look at her like she was the only person in the world? Doctors swarmed him again, shouting orders, checking vitals, trying to understand what just happened. But Neil didn't let them take him away. His hand shot out, weak but determined, and grabbed Alina's wrist. "Don't go," he breathed, voice raw. Alina froze. Her heart hammered so loudly she thought everyone could hear it. The chief surgeon leaned in. "Sir, you need immediate surgery. Let her go." Neil's eyes never left Alina. "I won't unless she stays." Gasps again. The staff exchanged confused looks. Who was this girl? Why was the billionaire CEO clinging to her like she was his lifeline? Alina's voice shook. Sir, I don't even know you." "But I know you," he whispered, tightening his grip. "You're the reason I'm alive." She swallowed hard, trying not to cry from fear and confusion. "I didn't do anything." "You kissed me," Neil said, as if stating a sacred truth. "And my heart came back." Everyone fell silent. Even the machines seemed to hold their breath. Neil slowly reached up and touched his chest. "Whatever you did that brought me back. I felt you. I heard you." His voice broke. "I was in the dark, and your voice pulled me out." Alina trembled. "I didn't say anything." Neil's eyes gentled, yet held something frighteningly certain. "Yes, you did. You said my name." Her breath hitched, because she had whispered something while crying over him. Not his name, but a plea. "Please don't die." Neil's grip tightened again. "Stay. Just stay with me." And before Alina could protest, the doctors were already wheeling him to surgery, while Neil's hand refused to release hers. They rolled the stretcher forward, and she was forced to run beside him, her small hand locked in the grasp of a man who had just come back from death. Because of her, Alina had never stepped foot inside a VIP surgical waiting area. And now every guard, every doctor, every assistant kept glancing at her like she was some forbidden secret. She sat frozen, still feeling the ghost of Neil's grip on her wrist. What was she doing here? Why did he hold her like that? Why did he say her name as if he'd known her forever? Her hands were still trembling when the door slammed open. Neil's personal assistant, tall, sharp-faced, dressed in a suit that cost more than her rent, marched toward her. "You," he snapped, pointing. "Come with me." Alina stood only because her legs moved on instinct. He led her to a secluded corridor, closed the door, and glared at her with suspicion burning in his eyes. "Who are you?" he demanded. "What did you do to our CEO?" Alina flinched. I didn't do anything." "Don't lie," he barked. "Mr. Raymond has been unconscious for hours." His heart stopped. And the moment you touched him, He woke up calling your name. Tears stung her eyes. I don't know why, he doesn't even know me. The assistant leaned closer, voice dropping into something darker. Did you drug him? Hypnotize him? Blackmail him? Don't pretend innocent just because you look harmless. Her throat closed. There it was, the word she had learned to swallow. Harmless. Soft. Forgettable. Chubby. All the things she felt every time people looked through her. I swear, she whispered. I'm just a normal girl. The assistant scoffed. Normal girls don't revive dead CEOs with a kiss. Before Alina could respond, the surgical doors flew open. The head surgeon rushed out, breathless. Where's the girl? He shouted. The one he won't stop asking for? Alina stiffened. Every eye turned to her. He's awake, the surgeon continued, wiping sweat from his brow. And he refuses to stabilize until she comes in. The assistant paled. The staff stared. Alina felt her world tilt. Why would a man she didn't know, a powerful CEO who shouldn't even remember her face, ask for her with such desperation? But the surgeon grabbed her arm gently. Hurry, he said. If you don't come now, he might crash again. And Alina, shaking, terrified, and clueless, was guided toward the door. Toward the man whose life was tied to her kiss. The moment Alina stepped into the dim recovery room, Neil's eyes snapped open, as if his soul recognized her before his body did. Wires covered his chest. Machines beeped in frantic rhythms. Doctors stood by, whispering that his blood pressure kept spiking every time he asked for her. But when his gaze landed on Alina, everything slowed. His heartbeat stabilized, the beeping softened, and his breathing eased. Thank God. He exhaled, voice weak, but filled with relief. You came. Alina froze at the doorway. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Seeing him alive, because of her, felt unreal. Neil lifted his hand, reaching out like a child begging not to be left alone. Come here, he whispered. Against every instinct screaming at her to run, she walked forward, tiny steps, heart pounding. She stopped beside his bed, unsure where to put her hands, how to stand, how to breathe. Neil's fingers brushed hers. Soft. Warm. Intentional. I thought, he whispered, swallowing painfully, that I had died. Alina's voice barely came out. Why you did. But they brought you back. No, he corrected, eyes fixed on hers with an unsettling certainty. You did. Her breath caught. I didn't do anything. Yes, he insisted, weak but unwavering. When everything turned dark, your voice pulled me out. Your kiss woke me. A tear slipped down her cheek. She didn't even realize she was crying until he raised his trembling hand to wipe it away. Don't cry, he murmured. You saved me. I'm alive because of you. I'm no one, she whispered. Just a... Don't say that. His voice sharpened despite the pain. You're not just anything. His hand cupped her cheek, and her whole body burned. Then Neil said something that silenced the entire room. Stay with me tonight. The doctors stiffened. The assistant's jaw dropped. Even Alina forgot how to breathe. Sir, I can't. Please, Neil whispered, eyes dark with something deeper than gratitude. I don't want to sleep unless I know you're close. Her heart thudded painfully. But why me? Neil gave a small, tired smile, one that carried a truth she wasn't ready for. Because the moment you kissed me, I knew. Knew what? She whispered. His answer was soft, terrifying, beautiful. That you're the person my soul has been waiting for. The room went silent. Alina's world spun. And before she could react, Neil slowly tightened his grip on her hand, as if claiming her in front of everyone. Alina had never spent a night in a hospital before, and she definitely never imagined spending one beside a billionaire CEO who held her hand like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Hours passed. Neil slept, then woke, then slept again. But every time his fingers loosened, he jolted awake searching for her hand, panic flashing in his eyes until he felt her again. It tore something inside her. How could a man like him need someone like her? By dawn, soft sunlight slipped through the blinds. Neil blinked awake, his voice rough. You're still here. Alina smiled shyly. You wouldn't let go. He shifted slightly, wincing from pain, yet his gaze softened with something warmer, deeper. Thank you for staying, he whispered. She opened her mouth to reply, but the door burst open. His mother, Regina Raymond, stormed in.
Tall.
Elegant. Ice cold. Her eyes darted to Alina. And froze. Who? Regina hissed. Is this? Alina's heart plummeted. Neil tried to sit up, but the pain forced him back down. Mother, calm down. Calm down. Regina snapped. My son nearly died. And now he's clinging to some. Her eyes swept Alina's body, judgment cutting like a knife. Random girl? Alina shrank, hands trembling. She had felt invisible many times. But this felt worse. Like being seen in the ugliest way possible. Neil's jaw tightened. Respect her. Regina scoffed. Is she your girlfriend? Your nurse? What is she? Alina shook her head quickly. I'm no one important.
No.
Neil's voice cut through the room. Sharp, commanding, undeniable. She saved my life. Regina crossed her arms. Doctors saved your life. No, Neil said firmly. She did. Alina blinked in shock. His certainty terrified her more than his mother's anger. Regina stepped closer, voice dripping with control. Neil, sweetheart, you're confused. Trauma affects memory. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. He shot back, then looked at Alina with a softness that stunned everyone. I wanted to stay by my side. Regina's eyes darkened. Absolutely not. She leaves.
Now.
Neil's breath hitched in frustration, pain flaring across his chest. And then, something happened that silenced everyone. Neil reached out toward Alina and whispered words that changed everything. If she leaves, I'm going with her. The monitor spiked. Doctors rushed in. Regina gasped. Alina froze. Because Neil wasn't threatening. He was serious. Terrifyingly serious. Her presence wasn't just comfort. It was life to him.